Lesotho is a mountain kingdom surrounded by the Republic of South Africa. The small landlocked country has one of the most extreme income inequalities in the world. The hustle and the bustle of the capital city of Maseru is only a stone throw away from the rural life most of the 2 million Basetos live. In the rural areas, life is based on subsistence farming of crops and mostly cattle. In the mountainous terrain, life is never easy. But especially for the older Basotho, it is a life of hardship. And leisurely growing old is impossible in a life of poverty made worse by drought, migration, and the country's 30% HIV/AIDS prevalence rate.
Today we have this pandemic, the HIV pandemic. We also have a greater percentage of unemployment. And most of our elderly people live in the rural areas. So the young adults leave those rural areas to come to the city center looking for jobs. Some are dying through HIV/AIDS. And the elderly people remain the primary carers of the children and the community.
To do something about this problem, the government of Lesotho implemented the old age pension in November 2004. This pension scheme provides all 70,000 persons over 70 years old with a monthly income of 200 maloti or 20 euros. It is aimed at lifting the older people out of extreme poverty. The system of the monthly cash transfers was a deliberate choice over other ways of government support.
We found out that transferring cash is much broader because people or the pensioners are able to buy food, they're able to visit the health centers. Their attendance for children in school has also improved. So the cash transfer is seen as a much better option other than food.
Once a month, the Lesotho Postal Service distributes the money from hundreds of pay points throughout the country. As here in Nyakosoba, the pensioners make their way to the nearest pay point to collect their pension money. Some of them live up to 2 hours walk away from the village and have to cross the rough terrain by foot if they don't have a horse. When the pension money arrives, the waiting is over and everybody makes their way closer to the post office to queue according to the names being called out.
Ntate ke bona ke ntse ke kgona ho fumana se hloka se neng ke banka se hloka hore ke se sebetse ka thata hobane ka nnete ke fumana wa tshentse thiba mane le mane.
Ia bo fetola mpa bo fetoa ha we sa felle hobane kana ko engwe ha ke ile ka batla ntho tse kang dijo jwale ke tla hloka gona ngakeng ke ya ka tla hloka gona ngakeng ke ya ka hoba jwale ke motho a tsamang di check up tsa high blood.
After the money is handed out, the pensioners have to make their way home again. Most of them work in groups to prevent losing their budget for the rest of the month. Some of them work, but others use the money to get a taxi and avoid the 1 to 2 hours walk back home. The introduction of the pension has not only been welcomed by the older people themselves, but also by the other villagers because of the important function the grandmothers and fathers fulfill. In Lesotho society, people are still heavily dependent on each other. The chiefs who have to care for the stability in the villages they head often have to help out when things are difficult.
Ho na le ba fumanang dijo ka bo di 15 ba bang ha ba di fumane di phofonyana tse ke di 12.5 go ga se dintho tse ngata tse ka kgonang ho nka motho kgwedi ha go hana le ditlolo.
How much the situation of the pensioners has changed was the subject of a study done by the National University of Lesotho. The impact study, done under the supervision of David Kromer, has shown that the social pension has made a profound impact on the lives of the old people.
What we found was, and as you might expect, that some of them, maybe 10-15%, said we were able to stop working because we had the pension. We had been told that this pension, the pensioners really would never see it. Their families would take it away from them and maybe they'd get a little bit of it. But not true. We found, perhaps because it's in Lesotho, that these pensioners were heads of household. They were honoured and respected as heads of household. And it was the pensioners who told us that when they got the pension, they, the pensioners, decided what would be done with it.
The outcome of the study was that most of the pension is being spent on food, housing, and school fees for their grandchildren. The study also showed that a considerable amount of money went to medical care.
They stopped getting their medicine from the local traditional healer.